Einstein was famously a keen violinist who drew scientific inspiration from his playing, and a surprising number of other Nobel laureates in physics, chemistry, and other disciplines showed an affinity for music from an early age. Max Planck, one of the founders of quantum mechanics, was a gifted pianist and organist with perfect pitch, who almost opted for music as a career over physics. Einstein spoke of Planck's artistic need that drove him to creative achievements. In Berlin, the two joined forces with fellow physicist Arnold Sommerfeld and Planck's son Erwin for trio or quartet evenings in which they played for students and colleagues, such as Lise Meitner and Otto Hahn. Like Einstein, Planck turned to music to free his mind and open up new directions of thought. "It is not logic," said Planck, "but the creative imagination which ignites the first flash of insight in the spirit of the researcher who is advancing into dark regions, and without imagination, new fruitful ideas do not present themselves." William Herschel, the German-born British astronomer who discovered Uranus in 1781, was a multi-instrumentalist and prolific composer of symphonies and concertos. Russian composer Alexander Borodin was also a research chemist who discovered the aldol reaction, important in organic synthesis. In fact, he regarded himself primarily as a scientist who composed in his spare time. It was the other way around for Edward Elgar, who made a career out of music as a distinguished composer while taking a serious amateur interest in chemistry and cryptography. Mathematicians and musicians also share a common bond. The American popular maths writer Martin Gardner commented, "A surprising proportion of mathematicians are accomplished musicians. Is it because music and mathematics share patterns that are beautiful?" Composer and lyricist Stephen Sondheim underscored what musicians have known for more than 2 millennia. "Math and music," he said, "are intimately related." These connections between musicians, scientists, and mathematicians extend to the present day and run deep into many forms of popular music. Olivia Newton-John's maternal grandfather was the physicist Max Born, who won the 1954 Nobel Prize for his research in quantum mechanics. Her father was the MI5 officer Brinley Newton-John, who helped break the German wartime Enigma codes. "There's a kind of a line between music and math," she said, "so I guess I got the music gene. But my mother wasn't too thrilled. She wanted me to go to university and get a degree or do something. And my father, he liked opera, so he wasn't too thrilled either." Jimi Hendrix drew inspiration from reading science fiction while on the road. He turned the purplish haze of Philip Jose Farmer's Night of Light into the psychedelic rock classic Purple Haze. But he went beyond weaving science fiction themes into songs by composing, with his producer-manager Chas Chandler, space rock epics that expanded the possibilities of the electric guitar in the recording studio. Brian May did research in astrophysics before becoming sidetracked for a few decades by a project called Queen. He finally completed his PhD in 2007, aged 60, and now divides his time between astronomy and music. Physicist and science popularizer Brian Cox was the keyboard player with bands Dare and D-Ream. Guy Garvey of Elbow is an avid amateur astronomer. Art Garfunkel has a master's degree in mathematics, and numerous other pop musicians and rock bands, including Rush, Hawkwind, and Pink Floyd, have drawn inspiration from science and science fiction. David Bowie's Space Oddity was released just 5 days before the crew of Apollo 11 blasted off for the moon. In 2013, Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield filmed himself singing Space Oddity while floating, in a most peculiar way, around the International Space Station.